let's say there's some headbangers out there that are new to Doomsday. What do you want them to know?
Not to like, talk about any other bands or anything like that, but I feel like we are the dopest live band in the history of live bands of all time.
Hey, what's going on? This is STR. My name's John and Derek. We have got a couple of fantastic guys in the room with us tonight. We have two of the Riff City bad boys, Charley and Ryan from the Bay Area crossover thrash powerhouse band Doomsday. If you don't know these guys now, you soon will. Rest assured. They are a crushing band. They're standing on the edge of something really big. We're going to chat with them a little bit about that today. Their album, Never Known Peace, comes out on March 28th of 2025. We are thrilled to have you guys with us, man. Thanks for joining.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We know it's been a busy day for Charley. He's been taking care of his animal family today.
Yeah.
So let's everybody give a virtual scritch to the kitty because he's doing okay.
He's now nutless.
Yeah, it's like imagine you waking up one day and you have no balls. That's kind of crazy.
Charley, I'd probably hate you if you did that to me, man. I gotta tell you.
Really?
Well, for a while anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, if you keep screaming and barking the way that you do and writing good records, then I probably get over it pretty quick.
Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, yeah.
So first and foremost, you have got the new album coming out here shortly in a matter of days.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had the good fortune of getting our ears on the entire album. And it is an absolute ripper of a record. Really excited for you guys. We'll get to all kinds of stuff, but what was the process of putting that album together for you?
I'm gonna let Ryan take care of this one. He's the guitar savant. He's the GOAT.
Yeah. Like pretty much how I write pretty much all of the Doomsday stuff aside from the lyrics and the vocals and whatnot. So all the drumming, all the bass work, all the guitar work, it's all me. But how I usually do stuff is I have like a list of riffs on the computer that I just kind of jot down, and a lot of mouth riffing on my phone in case I think of something while I'm not at my computer. And pretty much what this record is a culmination of like a lot of those riffs being pieced together. And yeah, no, we worked with Zach on Depictions of Chaos and every release that we've done. And then we thought it would make sense to keep it in the Bay Area and keep it with Zach. And he did like a really amazing job helping us produce and record the record.
And that's Zach Oren. Do I have that right?
Yeah,
Oren at Sharkbite Studios. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Did you lean on him more as a producer for this is your first full length, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Did you find that you leaned on him more to lend a production set of ears to this than the EPs you've released in the past?
Not so much really. We did ask him if he wanted to give his 2 cents in there just to have a sixth pair of ears on this. But in the past releases, he's been completely hands off. It's like, just give me the tracks and I'll mix them together. But on this one, I asked if he wanted to help produce it, and he gave me a shit ton of notes that maybe we can change this here, maybe we can change this there. And to me, with this record, since a lot of the previous releases were just me kind of just saying, hey, this is it, play this song, but I wanted to be a little bit more hands off and a little bit more make it more of a collaborative effort between everyone in the band. So everyone in the band is an amazing musician. So I figured their 2 cents are pretty much going to add a lot of value to this. So but as far as Zach producing it, not so much leaning on him, but if he wanted to say something about the record, I would definitely listen to that and take that into account.
Charley, great pipes. Holy shit. Unique, nasty snarl. When writing lyrics, what is in the back of your head all the time when you're writing lyrics? What is the thing that really drives you and irritates you or puts a hornet in your bonnet?
Yeah, I mean, normally it's it's whatever I'm feeling at the moment or watching at the moment or playing at the moment. A lot of this stuff this time around, I wanted to change it up a little bit. I was the first 2 releases, man, I want these lyrics to be good. I'm gonna pull out the thesaurus and come up with what are some weird some words and synonyms for shit to make it really hit. But I think this time around it was I really wanted to listen to what Ryan is writing and like get like a vibe of like what's going on and like what kind of energy it's bringing and like try and match the lyricism like with that tone. And you know, like for the song like The Outlaw, to me like that screamed like, oh man, this makes me feel like a cowboy. I'm trying to do like some Western shit, you know, and like, you know, like go off the deep end off that, or like, you know, with Never Known Peace, like that was like a very like we deliberately wanted to like have like our influences like shine through, and like that one was like definitely like Sepultura, Chaos AD, Propaganda, like that was like, this is like the heavy like ass beater song, and I was like, you know, like I want to like write something like that can match that, but also like, you know, like I'm gonna like be like a little bit more vulnerable, you know, like I don't want to be like a metal band that's like afraid to like speak up on like shit that like, you know, everyone goes through, you know, no matter like how old we are, like what's the gender and stuff like that. And just like, you know, like this is like about like me wanting to like, you know, like kill myself, and like I'm gonna like, and I want to bring that to a song, like, you know, like hopefully if someone's reading the lyrics or listening to the song, like help them through it. And like the next single that we're gonna release like tomorrow, it's like the other side of that, of like, you know, like going through the traumatic experience with like, you know, like let's I'm gonna like get through it and rise above, you know, like so this time around it's just I want it to be like more straightforward, and like, you know, like not that like I'm afraid to like come up with like some weird like topics or like some things that like don't normally talk in metal, but like I'm gonna take it like how I'm feeling, versus like, you know, like I'm trying to like prove something, you know, like I feel like this band, like it not that I don't feel like we have anything to prove, you know, like I feel like we want to like take this band as far as we can take it and like go like as far as we can, but like at least on my end, like I feel like, you know, like I feel like I don't have anything to prove with like trying so hard with lyrics or like, you know, caring what people like think of it, you know. It's like I'm just gonna write something that I think is good. So,
how does that differ from your approach on the prior albums?
It was like I was like would do like research for like days or like maybe even weeks on like things that I would want to like think of or like to write about, and like really like craft something super meticulously. Like with like the self-titled EP, it was like one of the songs, Inherit the Flesh, it was like about like, you know, like like, you know, like familial trauma and stuff, and like I want to like really hone in on like every single line, like be like exactly fine-tuned, and like go like no, it needs to be this word, it needs to be this intonation. And I love that song, it's one of my favorite lyrics I ever wrote. But like when it came around to writing this record, it was like I gotta let go, dude. Like I gotta like, you know, like I can't like at some point when you're writing music, I feel like you kind of like have to listen to what you have and like feel like, okay, this is good, this is really good. If you keep harping over this shit, you're never gonna be able to like release anything, because like you're always gonna find imperfections in like the things that you come up with. But yeah,
I found it fascinating that a lot of times when you get media kits, they don't send the lyrics along. And they did. Your media folks sent those along, which I found fascinating. Did you guys ask for that to be done?
I don't know.
I don't like I thought that was normal.
No, it's not. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah. So they must see something in your writing that they think is we as the media are gonna latch onto. And you know, there's a lot to hear. It's very authentic. It was great. Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed it. One observation, just watching you two, Ryan, you really listen to what Charley has to say, and likewise back. You guys have a real mutual respect, huh?
Oh, dude, 100%. So when we had first met, it was like I was in a different band. I was in like a straight edge band called Our Fight. And it was like one day it was at practice, and like Joseph, who's gone on to like sing for like Tsunami and stuff, like all these big like hardcore bands. That was his band at the time. They started doing stuff again. But he brought in, if I remember correctly, he brought in Ryan. I didn't know who the fuck this guy is. Like, oh yeah, it was just some dude. And like, you know, we just started talking a little bit, and like we found out like we both like this band called Iron Age, and like that's my favorite band of all time. So it was like crazy to, you know, like especially at the time, because like the scene was like very like in the Bay Area very small for hardcore, and that band, it wasn't even like a big popular band at the time, but like, you know, hearing that he liked that band, I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna keep talking to this guy. And then like, you know, like I like had like these mouth riff ideas for like a kind of like an Iron Mage band at the time. It's like, hey, can you like do this? And like I was just like mouth riffing or like just spitting out lyrics. Totally not the right way to like write music. So I'm just like boop like in the middle of the practice space, and he's like, yeah. And
I got it.
and then like we kept in contact. Like I think like maybe like a couple weeks later to like a month, he like sent like out the first like riffs for like the, I don't even know what it's called at this point, like the Of Life like things that we wrote. And it was like, dude, this is sick. It was like nothing. It's like it's like exactly what I want to do, just like hard, like crossover type hardcore stuff. And I'm like super grateful for him, because it's like, you know, like he turned out to be like my brother at this point. Like I love that fool, and like it's like kind of crazy to like be in contact and they have that friendship with someone that's so talented. I'm like, man, like it's like I feel like super fortunate to like, you know.
So he's the maestro to your chaos,
dude. Like straight up, like I don't like he's like, we're like have like complete different personalities when it comes to like creating music. He's like very meticulous, and like I tell it to him a lot. Like he has like this really like genius like quality to like identify tone and like how to like approach a song. And like if he like says like I want it to be like X thing, he just knows from the get to like what to write. And it's like, dude, like that's so hard to do. I feel like he's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean like it's not that often where you find someone where you could just mouth riff to someone and someone just immediately gets it. Like, you know, it's like sometimes it's like, that's not what I'm really talking about, but that's fine. But like between us two, it's very like in sync. Like you can just say one note and I'm like, got it.
It's rare to find those connections, man.
Oh yeah.
Your band was born not long before coronavirus hit and everything shut down. Being sort of a one-man machine that can build everything out, with the exception of maybe vocals. Did the pandemic put the brakes on what you were doing, or were you able to just keep going full speed on your own in your home studio?
Like I feel like we were on the cusp. Like I think the last show we played during the pandemic, and Charley, correct me if I'm wrong, was like a week before the world shut down. I think like a couple of weeks before the world shut down.
Yeah, it was like I think like the 9th, like March 9th, like the first week of March. It was like in San Jose. It was like with Big Boy, Initiate, Scumdog.
Yeah, and it was like we were on the cusp of like trying to write the LP and try to move forward with like, you know, writing, and then all of a sudden everything just shuts down. I remember I did not have a guitar amp at the time, and I was always just borrowing people's stuff, and like I bought my first half stack like literally the day before like everything shut down. And I'm like,
good timing.
Yeah, I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do with this now? I'm like, yeah.
Well, that I guess it's not fair to say that you guys were born just before the pandemic, but because the band was technically formed in what, 2018? And you guys had 2-3 EPs that were in 2022, 2023. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, we had Depictions. We had like a demo before that, like a little promo thing.
Riff City promo.
Yeah, that one. That like, and like think about it now, like we kind of took our time coming out with like the first album now.
Yeah.
Like
I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, you guys gave yourself time to get, you know, worked in as a band. Let me ask you this, since you're the chief writer, Ryan, of pretty much everything. How is it for you when you spend all this time meticulously putting all the parts together, writing everything out? How is it handing those parts off to the rest of the guys in the band? Is that an easy thing for you? Or are you like a taskmaster, you know, pointing your finger, nope, you missed that, you got that wrong, this is how it needs to be done?
So pretty much the writing process goes, for me, I write everything, no lyrics, it's just straight track. And I hand it off to Charley. And then like he gets first digs on it. And like, because I mean, he's gonna be putting his lyrics on there. And then when he bounces those ideas back to me, or like when we record the rough vocals, the structure of the song changes, and then all the stuff like works around his vocal. So there's like, so it accents different parts of like, you know, I call it dead space, but like, you know, all the spots that he doesn't fill in, I fill it in with other like accents or like, you know, licks or like random wheedly doos, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, and then it's like, it's mainly just me and him working everything together. And like what he said earlier, about like, you know, trying to get everything perfect and whatnot. There are some instances where like he says something that's like, or he does something that's like genius, and then he'd want to change it. And I'm like, no, just leave it. Like, it's fine. Trust me. Like, it's good. And then at that point, it gets to everyone else, mainly first the drummer, Eddie, our drummer, Eddie, who kills it every single time.
Yeah, shout out Eddie. He's in like
Yeah.
9 bands. I think he's crazy.
Yeah. He's insane. But there are times where like he switches up the entire like thing where I wouldn't even think of that. And like, being that I want to make this a more collaborative effort, I'm not going to put the gates on there. I'm just going to be like, yeah, let that through, and just not care what he writes, and it's slamming. So
it's an interesting dynamic, because Eric Peterson of Testament writes a majority of their music, and then eventually they will bring in the rest of the band to bring it home with Chuck Billy and Skolnick and the rest. So it's you guys are taking a very similar approach to Testament with how you write. It's pretty cool.
We chatted with Stu from Spirit World last week, and he is the chief songwriter and likes things done a certain way. He writes the parts and likes to keep it really tight when he distributes those, you know, to the rest of the band. So I'm always curious, when there's a sort of a singular songwriter, what the comfort level is when you give that stuff out to the guys. So it's pretty cool that you have quite a bit of trust and admiration for the rest of the guys in the band, that you give them the room to make some moves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to take us back a little bit to Attaining Heaven by Force. That it felt like, and if you look at the media, that track really, really put you on the map. A lot of folks in the media gravitated towards it. That track, when I heard it, my kid was sitting in the back and he got stink face. And then he started going like bobbing his head, and then he started going like this.
That's like the best compliment ever.
That's awesome.
And he was, I think at the time he was 9, and he was totally. He's like, "Can you play that?" I go, "Attaining Heaven by Force." Yes. Doomsday. Yes. So tell me how that came together. Did you guys know? Like, did it feel special to you, or is it just another track?
I feel like whenever we write something like not to sound like that guy, but I feel like all the tracks are like, man, these are like dope. Like, every single one is dope, and we don't really have like a choice to be like, oh, this is the song of the album, or this is like the one, and stuff like that. So it's like, it's really cool to hear like after the fact of like when everything's like said and done, everyone's like, oh, this like, no, y'all are dope, but this is the song. And I was like, oh dang, like really, like I wonder why. So it's like it's really cool to hear, like, you know, like that your kid likes that song. Actually,
okay, no, he does. Yeah, he was really, he's still into it. He loves everything from 80s Duran right on through to listening to you. Yeah, so he likes a little bit of everything. But you didn't write the song and just go, this is it, this is the balls. It's just another track. Interesting.
What are the tracks that you guys have put together that either one of you or both of you together that you've listened to after the fact and thought, holy shit, this is amazing?
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be Blood Tactics. I thought people like off like the first like the self-titled thing, like just because like, man, that name is so cool. Like, these lyrics are like dope, and like this riff is like sick. I thought it was at the time to be Blood Tactics, and like it was like to the point where it's like, man, maybe we should save this for like the album. And like then it just seeing people like the other 2 songs, or at least like, you know, resonated with it more, and I was like, dang, like that's super interesting. Like, it's like maybe that song fucking sucks. Like, you know, no, but like it's really cool to like, you know, like think about, you know, like something that like you hold so strongly can like, you not mean as much to someone else because like they see something like deeper in like, you know, something else you wrote. So it's like you can't really dictate, you know, like what pops or what doesn't.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't usually have that perspective when writing all this stuff. Like when we were recording with Zach would point out like, hey, this is the single, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't see it that way. I just see it as like, you know, one whole thing.
Yeah, no, like straight up. Like we were having a tough time deciding like what singles were gonna be off the LP, because like we felt like every song had like its own merit.
It did. Yeah, and I agree with you on that. I mean, I listened to that I don't know how many times over and over, and I would go back and forth here in Florida from about an hour down to see where John and I worked together, and I listened to the hell out of that depictions, and it was great. And this record that's coming out, Never Known Peace, is absolutely magic. Just more of it, more of your magic, which is great.
How much, if any, input or pressure did Creator Destructor give or put on you guys in terms of choosing singles? Was that solely up to you guys, or did they have their thoughts and you balanced it out?
Literally, I feel like none at all. Ben, the guy that heads Creator Destructor, like he's like very hands off, like when it comes to like what we do with the band, and like he did have a little bit more. I wouldn't even say like he had like a little bit more input, like with like how things sounded, but it was just more like on the same like vein as like Zach of like, oh, like maybe y'all should do this, maybe y'all should do that and stuff, because like he has such an amazing ear for like what is good, and that goes to show with how like much his label has grown. Like he's released like the Gold stuff, the Tsunami stuff, like Out of Pocket, and like so many other like bands that like are the it bands like in hardcore right now. Like even like that one other band, Big Ass Truck, like that's like the most poppin' band right now. Like he just knows what's good, and like like when he suggested like like, hey, like can I listen to stuff, and like maybe maybe we can take it in a different direction if you like what I'm bringing, and like like it was like, oh dude, totally 100%. Like shout out Ben, he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Do you want to go through track by track? I'll give you the title and just tell us fire off what pops into your head for people who are new to the record when it comes out. You ready?
Yeah.
Sure.
Death is Here.
Taco Bell. They'll know what it means once it comes out.
Yeah.
All right. The Outlaw, which everybody's heard.
Dude, Red Dead Redemption. Just gotta
fuck
you know when you hear it. Like honestly, shout out the Vibra Slap. That's an underrated instrument.
The Vibra Slap.
So sick.
Need more of those.
Eternal Tombs.
Iron Age.
Iron Age and Pokemon theme song.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. My personal favorite is Killing Fields.
Slayer.
That's
all.
Slayer.
It's literally all like you need to know when you hear that song. Like
maybe that's why I like it. Pain Dweller.
Two
Step, and if we ever get to play like a stadium or something like that down the line, or like a big ass show, this is a song I want people singing back. Yeah. Shout out Battle Vests and Heshers.
Got it. Extinction's Hymn.
Majestic.
Never Known Peace.
Double Kick.
Propaganda.
Okay. Everyday War.
Oh, Groove. What's that Obituary song? Slow Death by Obituary.
Charley.
Just Ass Beater. That's all I can. I love that song. That was like we were thinking about it. Like it was last minute. Like we were gonna make that a single because like we love that song so much, but it was like let's take it somewhere else. Like Ass Beater. That's my favorite song off the record.
Is it? Okay. Holy Justice.
Berserk in Dark Souls and Vanquishing Your Enemies.
Yes.
Yeah, like epic.
Yeah. Vanquishing Enemies. Remnants of Spite.
Pinch Harmonics.
Samurai. You'll know when you listen to that.
Oh yeah, you'll know when you listen to Tamaraya.
Beautiful. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for that fun game.
Talk to us about real bass shit.
Dude, that's that's the craziest thing that's ever happened. Like in music that I can think of. Like, and it all just started as like our I don't even know. Like just like when that. So like when real bass, like when Joseph from Tsunami like started writing sending me like the demos for like the Tsunami stuff, I'm like, this is like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, and it's so fucking sick. Mm-hmm. And like it just transformed into something completely unexpected for the Bay Area hardcore scene, where it like uplifted everyone, like almost like all the people that were putting in the work to like like just play music just because they like playing music, not even just to like get something out of it. All those guys that started bands are like doing like are like doing like way better because they like put in the work for their scene. And I feel like that's like a big thing that like I'm seeing more across the US, like where people are putting in the effort to like, you know, grow something from nothing just for the love of it, just to play music, just to like build a community. And seeing how far like RBS is like that whole movement is going, it's like that's crazy. And it's like crazy to think about, you know, like that we're a part of something like that. Cause like, you know, when I first moved to the States from Puerto Rico, I didn't know shit about music. You know, like I liked metal. I didn't know anything about hardcore. Like I love Iron Maiden and Metallica. You know, I didn't know anything about it. And like, you know, just moving here and like getting involved with it. And like now I have friends that I'm gonna consider family for the rest of my life is crazy. All just because of the music is beautiful, man.
It's a unifier for sure.
Well, the Real Bass Shit album.
The Real Bass Shit. That's dope too. All the bands on there fucking killed it. You know, it's like the track that we did with Fear None, it was like doing more stuff, just more berserk stuff, which is like my favorite manga of all time. And just all the themes of like, you know, perseverance and like struggle and, you know, defying like fate. It was like I wanted it to be there in that track. And, you know, that was like the easiest song for me to write lyrically, because it's like, oh dude, like I know what I want. This I know what this song's about. Just hearing it. Ryan's like, he's just good. He's great. He knows how to write he knows how to write riffs, man.
Yeah, like he like Charley sent me like the text message, and he was like, we should do this, and I'm like, all right. So I like wrote something in like a week, and then just gave it to him, and everything just came together.
Yeah. How did that whole album happen? Who was the guiding hand behind that?
So
17 tracks, 17 bands.
Yeah. So it was Danny from RNRG, Rock and Roll Gangsters Presents booking. Like that's the like booking that we do down here in the Bay. Mm-hmm. And he's also in a band called Condition One. He's like super involved in the scene, and I believe Jaffe and Mike Dirt, Hands of God and Tsunami, and I forget like who else was like involved in it, but they wanted to make a compilation of all the bands that were part of the RBS like scene down here in the Bay. Like, yo, like they just want to like have everyone that like contributed to like what, you know, like what we helped grew now, and like, you know, like just preserve it, you know, and not just like photos or videos or anything like that. It's like I feel like it's, to me personally, the way I look at it, I feel like that's going to be a defining moment in hardcore. Like every single band
for the Bay Area.
Exactly.
What if anything can you tell us about the venue that the proceeds from that album are going to go to build?
I'm not too sure like what venue where they're going to go in the venue, besides like that's going to be in San Jose, because it's like I imagine it's super hard for them to like find a place, you know. I think they just became recently a nonprofit, like Crossthreads, like which is like works very closely with RNRG, and like they're doing so much to like foster like community in San Jose and like beyond. And I really hope that they find a spot sooner than later in San Jose, because like it's very hard to like surprisingly like the biggest like what people consider like the dopest and biggest scene in the US and the world for hardcore is like there's realistically only one venue down here for people to play, maybe two. So it's like having a spot for like, you know, the kids like to play like is like mission critical for them. So like, I mean, I'm hoping they do something within like this or next year to like find
because it's being designated as an all ages venue. That's the whole idea behind it, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Well, it's a killer album, and there is a ton of great music on it, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Charley, any word from New Balance on that sponsorship yet?
I keep tagging them. They don't fucking like.
It's disappointing.
Please.
We'll tag you. We'll tag them on our posts too. We'll see what we can do for you.
Look, man, I know your pain. It's real. I've been trying to get some sponsorship dollars from Country Time Lemonade for like 3 years, and they're completely unresponsive. We're kindred spirits there.
Surely they're discussing it right now.
I would hope. Speaking of collaborations with known entities, I saw some live footage where you used I think the track was "Heaven Is a Place on Earth" from Belinda Carlisle. I've reached out to her people. I'm working on something more official for you. Keeping in terms of the live show setup, how do you guys go about building a set? Do you plan things out with, planned interludes, things like that? Or are you more fly by the seat of your pants? You've got your set list and you're just going to go out and fucking rip it.
It was more of the latter, before, it started off more as we're just going to wing it. Mm-hmm. And then now we've kind of taking the approach all right, we have the best players that I know personally in the band, so it's let's tighten this thing up. Let's make sure everything's down to the T as best as we can. I trust everybody with what they're doing. In terms of the whole Belinda Carlisle thing, we're opening with Heaven, Attaining Heaven by Force, so I figured it's a great song. But yeah, we were trying to have a more cohesive set that we can just run by. And it's if someone asks all right, let's do set A.
Let's say there's some headbangers out there that are new to Doomsday. What do you want them to know?
I feel like when I came up that we got to use the term Riff City. I feel like that's the most honest tag for this band possible. Because I feel like when we play live, I'm not to talk about any other bands or anything like that, but I feel like we are the dopest live band in the history of live bands of all time. but I feel like we put in a lot of energy in our set, because I feel like sometimes when someone doesn't know your band, they're not inclined to move around, shit like that. I feel like it's your job as the band to make people feel something, feel what the music's about. And I feel like when you see a Doomsday show and you see us play, you will start moving. And if you don't start moving, then I don't know what's wrong with you, bro.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you got?
Yeah, I think Rift City is a pretty good way to kind of describe it. I mean, it puts a little bit more pressure on me since it's
Sure.
all right, Rift. but when we started this band, every band around us, were more centric on ass beaters. Let's write something heavy. Let's do let's make something heavy and aggressive. Whereas me, I'm not an aggressive person. I'm not that's not what I portray in a guitar playing.
It's very calm.
And if it does, it's on accident. But me and Charley just are on the same page of let's write something that's not heavy, first of all, with the intent of not being heavy, and just more headbang material. If this part's heavy, it doesn't want to make you whoop anyone's ass. It just makes you want to headbang. And that's the sole intent of me writing all this stuff. Music for the music people.
Well, Riff City is decidedly an apt moniker for you guys, especially for you, Ryan. I mean, you are a riff monster, and you have got a crusher right hand. Yeah, you're quick and clean, and I respect that quite a bit. All right, very good. Well, we don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I've got a series of quickie questions for you. Just an either-or kind of thing. I'll throw them out. You guys let me know where it lands for you, okay?
Yeah.
Sweet or sour?
Oh,
sour.
Sweet.
NASCAR or Formula One?
I would have to. If I have to choose, I gotta go Formula One.
NASCAR.
You guys are 0 for 2 so far. I love it. A cabin in the woods or a condo in the city?
Cabin in the woods.
Cabin in the woods. Yeah.
Analog or digital?
Analog.
I'm gonna go analog.
Okay. Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
No, comedy all day.
Past or present?
Present.
Right now.
Living in now.
Right now.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Beach.
Free will or destiny?
Free will.
Free will.
Physical strength or mental ability?
Mental ability.
Okay. And the last and perhaps most important one, spending a full week with Kanye West or receiving a check for $8.
Check for $8.
Yeah, like $8, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew you guys were going to answer that the right way.
Kanye West.
From Kanye. We'll tag him too. I'm sure we'll get a response. Appreciate you guys joining us. What do you got for shows coming up where people can come out and get sweaty with you?
Yeah, so we're doing a 4-day run in April, just like a quick California thing. We're playing with the High Command, another dope ass band, like in
great.
Oxnard, on the April 10th. Then we got shows in Sacramento, Fresno, and then our record release in San Jose on the 13th. We're also, trying to work out some more shows, hopefully like a Texas run. We love playing Texas. And, after that, we ideally want to do more touring across the US and, hopefully play the East Coast. We've been wanting to play the East Coast for a long time. So,
yeah,
hopefully you get to see us soon.
Yeah.
Well, John's going to stay in Florida. I'm going to head back to New England, where I'm from. And if you hit Massachusetts, I will come down and say hello, and I'll bring you some good food.
Dude, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we hope that this is a catapult. I think that Never Known Peace is going to be a massive record for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
John and I rarely agree on things, but we agreed on this record immediately. Yeah. And I think that it's going to be just a massive record for you guys. And hopefully you get some of those national tours that you're looking for, and you're off and away. And eventually you're in Egypt playing ridiculous headbanging shows.
Cairo, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Cairo. Yeah. Rip it up.
Well, we appreciate it, man. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for having us. This was
Thank you.
fun as fuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
All right.